Genesis is making a lot of headway out here, and Cyber Dragons are actually making a splash too. If you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more content. We got another breakdown out here for a lot of the craziness that we've been seeing out of the OCG meta. And starting things off here, I mean, your top tier is still Detonator and Malice. They are running this show right now. I mean, I am telling you, the fact that both of them are S tier, clashing it out at the top, I think is one of the coolest things that we have seen to date out here. It shows that Konami, you know, they really wanted this deck build pack to be so strong. And they really did a good job at who they put at the top. All right. Now, A tier, we've got more White Forest. White Forest has been actually performing beyond my expectations. I love the fact that we are seeing this deck do as well as we are. So I'm kind of hoping to the future out here that we see this deck actually develop in the TCG. We also got Blue Eyes Drill Beam Special. Memento still sitting out here at A tier. I don't know what it is. I mean, I understand that when the deck goes off, it's brutal, but that's still nuts. This deck is holding on so strong. Regenesis has been going through a lot of evolutions too. If you've not been paying too much attention to what's going on in the Regenesis line of things, I think you're going to be very shocked to see how this deck has been developing. It's been a very interesting meta challenge. Now we also have some Gem Knight action out here. So good to see. We also have Crystons and even Tenpai Dragons. The Orcust has actually frickin' fallen down to C tier. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, the deck was doing so good, and then bada bing, and it's down. All right, we've also got Runic. We have some Evil Twin action, and we also have Cyber Dragons performing. I was actually really happy to see this. We also had Chimera, good stuff. You also got the Dragon Ruler bros out here making a wave. You don't see that all too often. And Mermail, they actually have down in D tier. You do see a little bit of Mermail selection in the OCG. And it does kind of struggle a little bit, not like in a bad way, but it does have a hard time kind of gathering up some of its combo pieces to play. Let's pass on over to these deck lists. This is what we're going to call the Streamline Special out here, and we're back actually playing Saberhole in the main deck, which is freaking awesome to be seeing, all because of our new support card actually helping this deck. We also do have the Infernal Flame Banshee, which a lot of people told me that they don't believe in this card. I don't know why, because it does seem like it's going to be a very viable option in the future. But you know what? You guys continue to sleep while other Rise Old players be innovating. Next up here we have Malice. Triple backup Adignister in here. Yeah, that's not a good thing you want to be seeing, but that's how the meta has been evolving. You also do see I've been playing the Meow Mine in here. I think the OCG actually kind of really likes the Meow Mine instead of the Wizard. I do like Wizard a lot. I think Wizard is a very solid card for what it aims to kind of give to this deck as an extra extender. So definitely the little interesting tech choices. Next up here, we have your White Forest pile. So keep in mind, I mean, you have all of the standard plays that your good White Forest build tends to give to you. But, you know, you also get to set up an Omni Negate with this build. Obviously, I too wish I could play Baron to Floor in this pile, but it's not worth it. You do get to see that Scythe and the Sanctums are coming up. And, of course, this build is doing Exceed Encores as an option to split apart the big guy so they can actually play. No more Detonator for you. Next up is Blue Eyes. I see that we are back on the Dominuses this week in the main deck. You know, they really do, they can't decide if they actually want to main this card or if they want to kick it out. I'm not hating on this, but there needs to be a decision made out here if we're going to side this gosh darn card or if we're going to leave it in the main, because I'm getting too many mixed emotions. Also 41 with the skill drain in, and the fact that they're actually main decking the Lancia is freaking funny. All right, next up here, we have your Memento action. Now, if you ask me, Robbie, you know, what's really making this deck so good? We see those 6 Mulch Armies right there. And, you know, the maxis, you have 8 cards that say draw cards. And then, of course, you know, we're not even playing the Goblin Cages anymore. We don't even care if you attempt to do things. This deck's just going to draw as many cards as it possibly can to try to find all of its, you know, gas. And then it's just going to attempt to start to clear the game. All right, we've also got Regenesis. Now, for those of you that have not been paying too much attention, this has kind of evolved into the modern era Floodgate Rank 7 Turbo deck. You do see that we do get to play a good old Mind Hacker in here. Not really all that surprised to see that. You know, he is kind of the challenger of the modern era. And, of course, you do have some mirrors down there. And, of course, honestly, the Counter Trap card, I think, is the thing that really makes this deck look a lot more inviting. This build also, you know, cut the big boss monster. Okay. Hey, we have our challengers for Gem Knights. And once again, you know, that Fiendsmith package really allowing this deck to hunker down on its options. You know, you're not really, you know, with not having to play Block Dragon, you just get to do the Desert, or well, you're not doing the Desiree, you're doing the Lacrima, and then you're just kind of extending on and going. It does give you a little bit of extra pressure, which I think is good. All right, next up here we have Crystron. As the TCG has been kind of figuring out which version that we want to go with this, I am reminded that once again that the OCG does have a Rise Heart. Oh man, Crystron being able to roll out a Macro Cosmo that you can actually just kind of sit on is freaking funny, man. I don't imagine that that's going to be too broken, but, you know, I assure you it probably comes up. Also, the OCG loves Tidal in this deck. Not the TCG version, though. Next up here, we have Tenpai. Still have triple Sengen Kaiman over there. Japan. I can understand why this deck is performing well because of that. You also do see the Super Polys in here, you know, the Garou and the Mudragon, the two generic targets. You know, we are bringing in the Heat Waves so we can have those strong pressure options against your opponent. You do not want your opponent taking advantage of blowing you out of the water, especially in a bad formation setting. So that's why you want to have those Heat Waves to do your thing. Next up here, we have Orcust. Now, in terms of how Orcust has been evolving, I don't know, man. I feel like this deck, being where it is on the tier list, is really, really freaking sad. It just proves that the deck is struggling so bad. Even with a Fiendsmith package in here, you know, this deck is not performing to the standard that you would really think it should be warranted. So I don't have an answer for you right now. I just think that the meta is just kind of outpacing this deck. It was cool to see play, though. Ooh, Runic. So I understand that you're probably looking at this going, disgusting. Yeah, that's what Triple Card Demise does. It allows you to draw some very stupid cards. It allows you to bully your opponent in ways that you shouldn't be allowed to. And yes, that is 6 Dominuses in the main, or 9 Dominuses. Or so much, man. That is way more pressure than you should have. And it's pretty nuts. All right, next up we have some Evil Twin action. Hey, well, of course, right? You're going to play Evil Fiendsmith cards in here just to kind of get those good options going. I mean, absolutely makes sense, right? Why would I not want to play the better cards? We are doing 2 of the Kishi's Kill Extender, and we are doing 1 of the older Lilla. It's actually kind of nice to see. Of course, you do see the Unchained core being built in here. You know, small numbers do accomplish big things. All right, what else we got back here? We've also got Cyber Dragon. Ooh. So for those of you that have been wanting to see a Cyber Dragon Challenger, this is really nice. All right, the fact that, you know, we do the Cyber Dark stuff, you know, you do all these little extensions to kind of keep the deck rolling, and then your job is to Clockwork Knight, Contact Fuse up, and then just kind of win the game there. This deck is very notorious for just coming out of nowhere and stealing a game. And that's exactly what Cyber Dragon needs to do. Next up here, we have an actual Chimera list that actually slammed out of its event and actually performed a little bit better than I think a lot of people were really wanting to give this credit for. Now, Chimera has been a very sleepy deck for a while. You did get the little power-ups with the Minia set as a one-of, just gives you the little extra extender. You know, we are also still playing the other Diabell down there as well. You know, standard disruption plays that this deck was a little bit more familiar with in the past. Next up here we have Dragon Rulers. I too wish that I could chunk in all the Dragon Rulers in the room and accomplish a result based on having multiple grass look screener. I think that this deck is freaking hilarious. I would actually, if you want to mess around with something a little bit fun post Alliance Insight, I don't think you're going to get immediate crazy answers. on the TCG side, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to have fun and test out some things. So look at Dragon Rollers, honestly. And then we have some Mermail action. Now, we are only doing one Minstrel in the main. We are doing Diva. We are doing the Water Barrier statue in here. You do see that we are doing one Gamma, one Driver. Man, I fear for the bricks in this deck, quite honestly. And then, of course, some more Minstrel action down in the side deck. And then, of course, we do have the spell card equip down there in the extra deck as well. But looks pretty all right. So what do you guys think about these lists? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.